talk about death. I know, super fun topic, right? But death happens all the time. And it's not just of people that we know. It's also aspects of ourselves and different legs of the journey. So, death can be very scary because change is scary. For new things to really come into our life, old things have to fall away. And sometimes we don't want that to happen. Sometimes we don't want the old to fall away. And that can lead to a lot of grief. But sometimes we do want the new to come in, but we're afraid. We're afraid of what the next level, the next adventure will look like, whether it's in this life or another life. But we don't need to be afraid of death. Whether it's the physical, the mental, the spiritual, the emotional, we don't need to be afraid of death. It is just a natural part of our human existence. There's this movie, I think it was called Meet Joe Black, where death, I believe, falls in love with a person. But in a way, when death comes for us, it's in a place of love to guide us to another stage. And death can be difficult when it happens because we are creatures of comfort and habit. But this life is meant to be a journey, and we're meant to experience many things. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't grieve for the different changes. I went to speak to a professor once, and he forgot about our meeting. And the door was open, and I saw him. And the lights were out, and it definitely looked like he had been crying. He asked if it looked like that, and I kind of said no. But he then proceeded to tell me about how he was grieving leaving that school to go on to do a PhD someplace else. And after he finishes grieving, he planned to allow the space to celebrate those new emotions of excitement for the next phase. Because in order to go and do that PhD, he was going to have to leave his family behind. In a lot of ways, they were closer to where that school was. He was going to have to leave the friends and the co-workers that he had known. And in a way, he was going to have to leave a version of himself. And I thought that was so profoundly wise to see life like that, to make space, to grieve the last phase, and then make room to celebrate the new phase coming in. And to have hope that the next phase was going to be just as good, if not better, than the last. But to make space for whatever came. And that's what I want for all of you, and for myself, is for us to have a healthy relationship with changes and transitions, with death, with new beginnings. To not hold on to the past and the old because we're afraid or we're stuck. And to not avoid the future and everything that comes with it because we're afraid or we're stuck. I want us to instead do like that professor of mine did years ago, and to acknowledge the losses that we have on all the various levels. And part of that is to acknowledge the good things and the bad things, to acknowledge the things that we look forward to moving away from. And it doesn't have to be that they were always bad, but just sometimes things are not suited for us in the next phase. And just to honor it and to let those things go, but to also remember and to celebrate in a way and to grieve the things that we loved and the things that we will miss. And then, even if we don't know exactly what the next stage is going to be, to have a joyful heart going into that next stage and to say, I accept whatever comes in this life with openness, with joy, and with peace. And to know that all of your past stories have given you strength and courage and the ability to navigate the future. I saw a video where this person was talking about getting gifts for your future self and learning to love your future self. And I thought that was beautiful too. And I think we need to learn to love all of ourselves, the past selves and the future selves. I was doing a meditation recently, and I imagined all these different versions of myself at different ages, old and young, and they were surrounding me and hugging me, and I felt so loved and so safe. And the truth is, everything affects everything, and within you is every lesson and every self you've ever been. When one thing ends, it doesn't mean that we don't take elements of that with us, because we have been transformed by the past. And in a way, we're being transformed by the future, because we're moving towards it, and it's almost like a gravitational pull. And of course, we're profoundly influenced by the present, the only thing that is truly real. I hope this is encouraging to you. I know how hard the concept of death can be. But just like we carry all the various parts of ourselves, we carry all the various parts of the people we have known and the things that we have known. And we get to decide what kind of relationship we want to have with those things. And that relationship can change as time goes on. We could always decide to have a new type of relationship. And that doesn't mean that old relationships didn't exist or that they were bad inherently. It just means that maybe it's time for a new relationship and a new perspective on things. It is wonderful to be able to look at the past and to find the peace and the joy in it. Even if you experience difficult things. I've experienced a lot of difficult things, so I understand me saying this can be a lot, but it is wonderful when you can find your serenity. And that is a choice that we make every day, in every moment. And sometimes we're more successful than others. But the point is to keep trying, to have a relationship that is healthy with death, and also a healthy relationship with life. Because life is the other side of the coin. You are all so wonderful. Thank you so much for watching this little talk. And I'll see you next time. Remember, you are worthy and you deserve good things in your life. Love you all.